Hey guys, here are my UFC Fight Night predictions. The fights are September 15 in Austin, Texas, and I was planning on going and watching the fights, but I cannot make it. So I want to send a special shout out to my good friend Sarah Arnold. I miss you, and I wish I was going to be going to Austin, watching the fights and visiting you. First prediction is Nate Marquardt versus Palhares, and Palhares has racked up a few wins after he got decisioned by Dan Henderson. He is a monster on the ground. He has good takedowns, and I don't think he's going to really want to stand with Nate. I think his greatest chance is to get this fight to the ground, and I think he can finish this fight if he does get it to the ground. After Nate's loss to Joanne, I'm sure he's working on his takedown defense. This is such this whole card is kind of like a tricky thing for me. Because I feel like if Nate, I'm going to go with Nate by TKO, because I feel that if Nate does get to the ground, I think his chances are he'll stay alive. And then if he gets back to his feet, if he stays on his feet, he's going to let his hands go. So I'm going with Nate by TKO, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rusmar gets a submission. So going with Nate by TKO. Next prediction is Efren Escudero versus Charles Oliveira, and Charles has, he's 13-0, had an impressive UFC debut. Efren was subbed by Dunham 2 fights ago. I don't know if that's weighing heavily on his mind. There seems to be a trend as of recent with American wrestlers dominating their fights, and I'm gonna take a chance on Efren. I'm gonna pick him by decision. I think he's going to use his wrestling to take this fight where he wants it to go and to dominate the fight with his improving boxing. He's been really improving with his boxing. So I'm going to go with Efren Escudero by decision. Next prediction is Jim Miller versus Gleison Tibau, and just like the last fight, I'm picking the American wrestler in this fight. Jim's only loss in the UFC has been to Gray Maynard, and it's kind of a tricky fight because Gleison does have explosive, powerful takedowns, but will he be able to take Jim down? We'll find out. Regardless of that, I'm going with Jim Miller by decision, and I also think his hands are just a little bit better than Gleison's. So going with Jim by decision. Last prediction is Ross Pearson versus Cole Miller, and I picked Pearson in his last fight because he's been looking really good lately. His boxing, his footwork are excellent, and I wouldn't be surprised if he decisions Miller. I know a lot of people consider Cole Miller's boxing to be underrated, and I hope to see some of that in this fight. Pearson is going to be hard to take down, but I think if Cole does, Cole can definitely test him on the ground. Cole's jiu-jitsu is pretty slick. I'm kind of torn between Pearson and Miller by decision. I don't know which one, but I'm going to go with Miller by decision. So I'm picking Cole Miller by decision.